Hi everyone and welcome to KRYPTALK, that Irish guy that talks about Bitcoin. So today we're going to take a look at a potentially bullish pattern, but unfortunately a potentially bearish trend. Let's get started. This is episode number 54 and the title of this episode is Bitcoin, the January Effect. So we're going to take a look at what January is usually like and what the trend has been like for the last few years. But before we take a look at the charts, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. I want to wish all the new subscribers in particular a very, very happy Christmas and happy New Year. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet and you're watching this video, maybe you consider clicking that subscribe button. Let's take a quick look at the charts. Okay, let's get the basics out of the way. This is the Kraken chart. These are daily candles and Bitcoin is trading at $48,476. Right, so we've got a clear rejection here from the EMA. Now if you look at this EMA ribbon here, we fell down below this on the 18th of November. We haven't got above it since. This is the first kind of real attempt. We were in the middle of it and then today just got a rejection. So that's one thing. The RSI down here, the RSI, the relative strength index, remember it's a number between 0 and 100 and the closer you are to 100 is a sign that Bitcoin is overbought and the correction is due, and the closer you are to 0 is a sign that it's oversold and it'd be a good buying opportunity. We're down around 40, 42, nearly 43. Made a recovery from about 30 there in the last few weeks. The last thing I want to talk about here on these in terms of indicators, just going to get rid of the RSI here so I can clean this up a bit, are these two lines here, this red trend line and this green trend line. This red trend line is the 50 daily moving average and this is the 200 daily moving average. They look like they're about to converge. If the red line passes and crosses below the green line, that's called a debt cross. It's usually actually a good buying sign. It sounds a lot worse than it actually is, but if you take a look at the 200 daily moving average, we seem to have got support on this line despite the recent kind of correction or downwards movement. Now it's kind of been boring basically for the last few weeks, but we have had some positives. Quick question. Do you think January is going to be a bullish or a bearish month? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now I've just gone ahead and cleaned up the chart and removed some of those indicators because I want to just keep it really, really simple. So if you look at the all-time high, so all-time high there is about $69,000. If we go down to the bottom of this current correction, which is down here, the bottom of this wick, it's kind of a long wick to the downside. Usually that's a sign that there's good buying pressure. That was down around, that's 40%. Okay, so that's significant. So where we are today, we're down about 30%, right? Just to give you kind of an overview. Now, if you look at what was happening there, you can see this white resistance line. You had your all-time high. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to highlight these for you. So you had all-time high. Then you had a rejection here. Then you had a rejection here. And then right here, which was, when was that? That was the 23rd of December. So Christmas Eve, you had that break above that resistance line. So that's good. Okay, so we did break out of that. I was kind of made a short about that recently. So it's good that we actually broke ahead of that, above that resistance line. Now, what's really key is that we've got a rejection here off the EMA today, as I mentioned earlier. So we've got this bearish candle today. Obviously looks like it's going to be very bearish. Are we going to go down here and retest this as support? Because remember, one of the most bullish things an asset can do is flip previous resistance to new supports. Are we going to bounce off this and continue on, or are we just going to fall down through here and here? I've said it before, I think 42 is probably the lowest we're going to go on this current correction. But it is worrying because January is statistically a bearish month. The price tends to open at one price and then more often than not close at a lower point, and then you get that bearish candle. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics on that, but I've done it before on the channel. I've gone back through the Januaries in the last, like, say 8 years, something like that, and statistically things like 6 out of 8 are bearish Januaries. Now, despite the fact that Bitcoin has been rejected by the EMA ribbon on the daily, that there looks like there's an impending debt cross about to happen, and the fact that we're going into January, which tends to be a statistically bearish month, it's not all doom and gloom. So I'm going to use the Coinbase chart here. So this is the Coinbase weekly chart. And the reason I'm using this is because the Kraken chart, as I use the most, as you can see, it's very, very messy. I wanted a cleaner looking chart for this. So like I said, this is the Coinbase chart. These are weekly candles. And what I see here is a potential ascending triangle. They tend to be bullish patterns. So what I'm looking at here is I've just drawn this resistance line here at the previous all-time high of $65,000. And I just drew that from the actual wick. Now, if you look at it here, what's interesting is that even though Bitcoin did go higher up to just under $69,000, the candle bodies closed a bit lower, kind of similar, just a little higher than the previous all-time high. So I can kind of justify drawing the resistance line there. So you have a resistance line, resistance here, and then similar enough level of resistance over here if you're not counting the wicks. Then down here you have a low point. Obviously Bitcoin went up and down, fluctuated, you have the volatility coming in. And then you have another low point here, but this low is higher than the previous low. So even though these are two low points, you have what's called a higher low. And over here then you've got this horizontal resistance line. It's not perfect, but it does look like an ascending triangle. And statistically, those ascending triangles do tend to break to the upside. So if you did a really, really quick price calculation, of course, there's absolutely no guarantee. But just take it from the top point here to the first lower high. And if you say it goes back out, even if it went back up today and you added that point to the breakout, what are you looking at? You're looking at a target of about $100,000. I don't think that is outrageous. I do think there's going to be $100,000 Bitcoin. It's probably going to happen sooner than later. It all depends on really, I think if January is bearish, I don't think it's going to be a disaster month. From what I can see, obviously recommend you do your own research and never invest any more than you can afford to lose. And this is not financial advice and all kind of stuff. But from what I see, I think how this is going to play out is January is going to be bearish. I don't think it's going to be an absolute disaster, but I think we could see a wick down to maybe just under 40 or something like that. Even around 42, under 40. I think 42 is probably the lowest it's going to go, but I do think January is going to be a boring month, but it's going to be a bearish candle. And then after that, it will build a bit more momentum, and we should be looking at, I think, all-time highs again sometime in 2022. Right, so really quickly, I want to talk about my dollar cost averaging project, experiment, whatever you want to call it. Every single episode, I buy €10 worth of Bitcoin and then gradually see if it's gone up or down. So I've been doing this for 40 episodes. So the total investment was €400. So for the last 40 episodes, I bought €10 worth of Bitcoin every episode. So the total invested is €400. The value of that Bitcoin that I bought with that €400, it's now worth €777.45. Total profit is $377.45. So that's basically 94.3% profit. Okay, folks, that's the end of this episode. So if you've learned anything new or got any sort of value from this episode, go ahead and subscribe. It really does help me grow the channel and it will help you stay up to date with the latest Bitcoin price action and news. I just want to say a massive happy Christmas and thank you to all the new subscribers in particular. Over the last 12 months, I've gained 182 subscribers. Happy enough with that. Still a very, very small channel, but look, I'm working towards that 1,000 subscribers, so thank you very much. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, look after yourselves, Sláinte, bye 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 bye.